There's a Doom, larger ones. So it looks like the map choice is ready, so we're going to jump into that in just a second. At least that's what I was just told.
Well, I want to see Inferno Shines because Tempest is basically the only Korean team to actually use use Gul'dan or Kel'Thas on this map, and it is Inferno Shrines, picked by Tempest. So let's see if they actually... Lockdown was the one, usually on Niming, but especially on this map, and only on this map, they don't even pick Kerrigan. They used to play Kerrigan when Dami was on the team, but not anymore. Maybe with H82 coming back into the team, because he did play Kerrigan back in Raven last season a few times. Maybe we'll see Kerrigan today.
Could be. And I think this map really works better for Vala a lot because you just work in a smaller area. You can't just out-rotate with a Falstad pick like that and deal with that unkillable Vala. Obviously, mechanical skill comes into this, right? I don't want to make claims. I didn't, but I want to say things like a Vala comp works here better, and so therefore they should draft that, or they're going to win every fight. It's going to be much better than them. And that they shouldn't draft it on SkyTel, but these are things that you have to consider when they were looking for fights roaming S5 and never a single, even one time, found the fight they were looking for while roaming S5 with the double support Vala composition. Tempest just was able to split push them, out-rotate, take better map control.
Anubarak is just such a strong, not just first pick, the frontline material right now, so if they decide not to go with the double support this time, ban Uther and see what the other side try to ban and just take Anubarak from first pick. I think that's the way to go right now in this meta. Even in your hero league, if you're the first pick, if Anubarak is open, just choose Anubarak. It's one of the best. There's a reason why its win rate is just so high right now.
Well, this looks very familiar.
Again, Tempest is banning Tassadar.
It's going to be Uther first pick. We may just see the same draft out of BlossoM. And maybe they wanted the Tassadar with the Vala. That was the composition that we saw from L5 mostly in the mid-season brawl, running Tassadar with the Vala Trinity with Ariel, Tass, and Vala. Not so much the Uther because it was usually removed. Ariel's denied here already in draft by Tempest, so they can't even get that with the Vala this time on a better map for Vala. So Tempest is already starting to adapt and react, responding to what we've seen from BlossoM already. Wiz does not look happy about that Ariel lock-in.
Genji Ariel though, for now that's a little unusual, but let's leave it at that and see what the draft looks like at the end. Maybe they're thinking of taking Vala themselves. I'm pretty sure that's what Wiz is thinking in his brain right now. They did take Uther, which is a very strong support. Just give the armor to the one that caught, especially after 7 taking Ancient Kings. You give so much more armor all the way up to 75 for the next 2 seconds, I think. That's a very, very strong talent coming in. That's why we don't really see cleanse coming out from Uther anymore.
No, definitely not as valuable. When the armor can almost just save you in any situation anyways.
You take less damage too.
So this is what I was afraid of for Tempest taking the Ariel, is they leave open Greymane and Anubarak. So you took the Genji, but you don't have the Uther to empower him. You have Ariel, but you need something to build hope. And the two heroes in Korea specifically we've always seen paired with Ariel were either the Vala or, of course, the Gul'dan. So Vala is still available here for Tempest, but no Uther and no Tassadar. So we see a secondary support here for the Vala. It's going to be a little bit unusual. The Vala or the Gul'dan could be banned by BlossoM here if they have the same line of thinking. So I like the draft for BlossoM so far. Tempest assumed that, at least that's what it looks like so far, assumed that it was going to be the exact same draft. And BlossoM just adjusted on the fly immediately, and now they still have a very strong trio of heroes.
Yeah, those three looks very strong. Greymane can always go for Cursed Bullet against any strong tanks to take out 40% of the maximum damage. Also, Nubarak, as we were talking about, so much CC available when you have the dive. Greymane also as a DPS can also dive with the burst damage. But with that Leeming ban from Tempest, I think it's hinting that they want to go with the Gul'dan. had the Gul'dan Ariel pair up with the wave clear, had the strong sustain along in the back line, and have Genji harassing with the strong warrior in the front line. I think that's the way, that's the chain of thinking that Tempest is trying to do right now.
Yeah. Really interesting to see what BlossoM is going to ban here. They're going to target the lack of warrior right now for Tempest, or are they going to target the Oriel hope-building DPS heroes? Gul'dan Vala, that's what's on the mind right now. Time's ticking down. There's going to be the Zeratul ban, so just removing the similar composition we saw from last game with the heavy dive of the Genji and the Zeratul. The mobility was a big problem for BlossoM. Arthas and Vala, of course, left available here. Honkono gives a smile. Will likely be him on the Genji again, but we'd love to see some Vala out of him because now he's very allowed to play the ranged DPSs of all kinds, not just the flex ones.
Ooh. Who's gonna play Vala then? That's a big question. Maybe Honkono will actually play Vala and let H82 be on Genji this time. I think there will be a little bit of a shakeup in the roles.
Well, H82 could technically play Arthas. We'll see if that ends up coming to pass here. Not entirely sure how they're going to arrange the heroes. Again, this is the first time they're playing with this lineup of positions. Honkono normally the tank player, so things could definitely get a little bit weird. But the fact that we already saw him play Genji last game leads me to believe he'll be playing it again. Vala could just be played by Lockdown.
This is way too fun.
So for BlossoM now, they're looking for the secondary DPS. Li Ming was the best target. It was removed. It's going to be Falstad, and Kerrigan makes it in. The old Kerrigan Uther. Feels like 2015 again.
That's right, Divine Storm and her own Storm around to take everyone out with
so
all
much
the
CC on this team.
Yes, that's right. And also Falstad can... Taking away Falstad seems also as a very good option, as Dehaka is already banned, taking the global. Now, with this comp, they do have the wave clear. They can pick off, they can do it. They also have the shrine control. They have the global. I think this is more of a balanced team comp for BlossoM's side.
Well, let's see what Tempest wants to round this composition out with. Could be just a normal tank here, or they could go for, once again, the triple DPS. Zeratul not available this time. And let's see, time's ticking down.
You do have Arthas in the front line. I think you need a little bit more protection onto
Maybe
Genji and Vala.
Maybe
or
a Tyrael?
Even a Zarya would fit okay.
D.Va! Here we
D.Va!
go. All right.
Play to win is the answer from Tempest. Finally, we see the first D.Va coming out of play in Korea. Let's see who's... Is it going to be Lockdown or Sign? That's a big question coming in.
Well, we just won't know until we get into the game. This is a new roster. It's time to jump into it, guys. This is going to get a little bit crazy. Tempest, definitely with a more lopsided draft. I feel like the draft of BlossoM is really well balanced. It's got a really strong composition and a list of S-tier heroes. As we go into game number 2, can they tie it up? Let's find out on Infernal Shrines. Here we go, in blue, Honkono on Vala, here we go. Wow. Hide on Ariel, H82 on Art, the Sign on D.Va, and Lockdown on Genji. So this is going to be a pretty hype one to see Honkono on his debut Vala.
And in red, BlossoM, Nueza on Uther, Gondar on Nubarak, Mora on Kerrigan, Tutu on Greymin, and no chat on his known Falstad.
Okay.
I thought game 1 was exciting, but this is even better. H82 on Arthas for the, I believe, for the first time ever.
So D.Va can mitigate a lot of the damage that comes out from this composition, but it's going to be about positioning, something that Sign's very known for, and self-destruct is very powerful on the shrines, obviously, and for zoning purposes. Hold that thought. Gondar is going to dive in here, gets detainment struck immediately. Honkono has the crown here. The heals are coming out. Gondar is going to pay for this with his life. The Sign just continues to try to chase, looks for the boop here onto Dudu to knock him back into the front lines. Unfortunately, not able to secure that.
Having D.Va, of course, cancels a lot of damage too, but Gondar coming off from the side, he couldn't really land on too many CCs. Maybe with the CC, it would have been very close to actually get a kill onto Vala. I think Greymane could have got the kill or were almost very close to getting a kill. But still, just 1-0 right now going to Tempest, of course. I think they have a much more solid team comp, especially when it comes to Shrine fight. D.Va's explosion is just so powerful, zoning tool out of the Shrine. It really destroys your positioning for BlossoM side.
It's very difficult to commit to your dive too when D.Va puts the defense matrix out on top of everything you're throwing in there. So when the dive comes in, obviously stuns are amazing, but the reason why they're strong is because you immediately after the stuns go down, get the, hold that thought, Sign's gonna be knocked out of his mech immediately here. But after the stuns go down, you put the damage off. If Sign doesn't get stunned and he can put his defense matrix in place, then it's gonna remove a lot of that damage. But at the same time, as we just saw there, if Sign is the one that's targeted down first or is stunned in the combos that come out or is picked off by big burst damage coming out from Greymane and Falstad, once the mech is down, the combos can fly. So I'm excited to see how these fights go because I think if Sign positions correctly, I like the D.Va pick a lot. I think they will win a lot of these Shrine fights, but BlossoM overall, if they can time this correctly, still has a lot of opportunities with the Kerrigan and Uther with the big dive coming in from a Nubrok. We've already seen what Gondar can do on this hero. We saw it yesterday. We're going to see it again today.
Even though you can't get the full D.Va, but as long as if you get the mech out of D.Va, you do get 50% of the EXP as you get the kill of the hero. So getting out, letting, and Sign is holding that explosion right there. As you can see, is full with the gauge. Is waiting for the chance to boost, going with the boost and make the perfect explosion onto the perfect target.
Yeah, it's about the momentum. Obviously, just like Overwatch, you guys watched this in mid-season Brawl. We saw some really cool usage of D.Va out of Nomia specifically. Those are my favorite moments. Okay, Detainment Strike goes in. Sign, is he going to commit to the self-destruct? He will. Good positioning here. He's, of course, got the increased size. There's the explosion. It does connect onto Wiz. Kerrigan's already dead here and done. Detainment could go over the wall here if it's off cooldown. Looks like it's not, so they're only going to be able to get the one pick. They do retain control of the Shrine. They will get the Punisher.
Yeah,
good
Mora,
pairing there. Good positioning on that self-destruct.
And Mora knew he was not going to be alive anyhow, so he was just getting one more minion from the Shrine, but that was not enough. And very good timing to actually end the shot calling of Tempest to go all the way in together when they know they have the lead into the team fight. They can win the team fight. And BlossoM, when they were off position, that was the perfect timing for Tempest to go in. That explosion, of course, played its part.
Yeah, really well placed. Okay, here's the protection coming out from Defense Matrix. We haven't seen too many of them yet this game, but just that one alone going to help protect Ariel, allow her to retreat. So Hyde gets out.
It's the utility of Genji. It's very hard to actually catch him without so many CCs available.
No chat. Gets caught by this root, actually. H82 really looking good today. Nearly gets the solo kill on a Falstad. If he had vision for a Q over the wall. Oh, he got the coil, but it didn't get the kill.
He got the blast, and I guess it was on cooldown, I guess. Yeah. And that was very close. He almost got a kill there, too. If Falstad has to be careful, too.
That's insane what we just watched there. That was really well played by H82. So Sign now nearly with another self-destruct available as we look for this next Shrine phase. I'm just going to push out this mid-wave. Saw that Greymane tried to solo camp and bot. You can actually see that on the minimap right now. We're not taking a look at it otherwise. But it was spotted and had to retreat, and that looks like Tempest is going to steal that neutral camp away. Looks like it was completely leashed though, so not going to be able to take it that quick. Dudu comes over to check. A risky proposition though to 2v2 this duo down here.
Uther is coming down. Just gets stunned, gets the heal. It seems like they are contesting actually. The supports are coming.
See, this is a risk when you have the mobility of D.Va like this. This was a mistake to contest by BlossoM without vision. They lose Greymane. Wiz is on the retreat here, having to self-heal. I don't think there's any chance he escapes. Sign goes over to help secure the kill with his thrusters. And that is going to be yet another pick, 4-0 here. No chat's the light at the end of the tunnel with the split push, but Mora now going to get caught as well, and he may just find himself DED dead. Just barely get out of that Tempest. Oh, the root is real. lockdown were ready there. Perhaps he would have gotten the kill. Now HG2 forced to retreat. No Chat comes in, and they will turn this around.
Nice flight, and also Gondar making the shot call to bring No Chat into to make it a kill. That was at least a kill. That's a start for them. They were losing 4-0 on the kills. Tempest, with that, they bought a lot of time, and they got the shrine for free. I don't think it was worth it, but after losing Uther and Greymane, there was nothing really much for BlossoM to do. They could do on the shrine to contest.
Well, this is going to be level 10 here first for Tempest. At minimum, Falstad is trying to split, so No Chat is up at the top to catch up. Not too far away, actually even having Kerrigan in mid. So Mora's looking to really even the score here. I'm going to take a little bit more structural damage from this though. So this is also an Arcane Punisher. This could do some real damage to the keep. The wall already basically down. Looks like Falstad is actually interrupted too on his journey down. It is going to be a kill onto Kerrigan. 1v2. 1v2 HG2 just killed Kerrigan and forced Falstad away.
Not sure what happened. Falstad is full health though. I guess HG2 was focusing only on Kerrigan.
Okay, here comes a bunny hop. And that's the slows here. Dudu is going to get picked off. This is going to be more than just a keep, it looks like. Wiz does not escape. Look at this. Several kills. H82 gets the 1v2 win in the fight. He's just casually chilling in the mid lane. This is a 4-man push. Sign looks like he will be knocked out of this smack. Oh, not quite. No Chat didn't have the positioning there to make that happen. That just happened though. They got the keep.
Bunny hop. Is it real? Wow. Tempest is bringing a little bit more CC. The slow has actually worked perfectly for Genji to actually hit the more Dragon Blade, the dash in to get the kill, to get the reset. Worked perfectly. And BlossoM right now is just falling apart into pieces.
Yeah. Really would have loved to see what happened with H82 in that 1v2 skirmish, because I don't think there's like, maybe we just can't know. Maybe that's just one of the great mysteries of life. Like it's like number 10 on Wikipedia. Look it up. Great mysteries of life. How HA2 won that 1v2 fight that we never saw, that we'll never know until the replays are released. No Chat harasses this a little bit, but this is going to be a stolen Merc cap. They will get their own Shaman cap at the same time, so some extra pressure in the top lane, but going to be insignificant compared to the catapult pressure in bot. So they just try to sit back and turtle for that EXP. They're down a talent tier currently.
Makes an engage with Gondor with some CC, but the heals coming in with Ario, and Vala is safe for the moment. There's a big gust coming around. Honkono gets very low, but is safe for the moment.
Big cocoon coming down on to hide, but it's not enough to get anything done. Even without his heals, they are crushing this team fight. 4 dead already. And Sign is looking probably to just come over, chase him here. Not even necessary. They get the kill without his boop there. Look at this push with the 6 Goatmen coming in. The Impaler cap is going to just do massive damage to this mid wall. HA2 is already going to clear the Shaman cap, and the bot pressure is starting to stack up. 3 catapults now in the bot lane. Tempest is dominating this one.
They seem so strong right now. Honkono was a little bit in the dangerous zone, especially with that gust. I think it actually helped Tempest to stay in together because Ario gives AoE heal. Everyone, I think 3-4 of the members was healed at the same time, which really got them back into the team fight. That was a questionable gust coming out from No Chat, but and that team fight, then they're down on talent still. Almost 3-level gap now. They need to make a miracle comeback right now.
They do. With the bot catapult pressure is going to make it difficult. They have Falstad in their draft though, so No Chat's on cleanup duty right now. They're also going to steal the solo cap down, or not the solo, the neutral cap down in bots. That's going to relieve some of that catapult pressure, at least for a little while here. But the Shrine is on the opposite side of the map. Already, Tempest has gained control of that, and they nearly have a 2-talent tier lead with 16 around the horizon here. The cap would be nice to have on the opposite side of the Shrine if there weren't a catapult lane down there to deal with it. So
if I were BlossoM, one of the members, or shot calling, I would. It's a very risky moment before 16, but I would actually contest before they hit 16, because if you lose the Shrine, the gap will be even bigger right after, and you may actually lose 2 forts, two keeps all the way, and that's going to be close to a game. And it's already too late, I guess.
It's already too late for them to make that decision now. They definitely could have done that, I respect their decision to try to soak for 13 at least. Oh, look at this deflect here. Detainment strike pushes Mora away. Baited so hard. And that is going to be a perfect exchange here. Lockdown escapes, wants the kill on the Mora. Cocoon not enough to save him. And split push is happening here. If they didn't lose anybody, if they had split pushed to 13, Hearth, Home, Turtle to try to prevent this keep from going down, I would have agreed with the decision. But because they didn't play it like this and they continued to, they lost a member and they continued to split push, I think your idea might have been the better one. Either way, Sign's going to go for the boop in here. Remember, he has self-destruct. Doesn't necessarily need to even use it here. The keep's going to go down without it. And that's going to be double catapult pressure now at the very worst case scenario for Tempest.
Genji does not have Dragon Blade, but Vala is full
Here comes Sign, drops out the self-destruct. It is gusted away. Nice usage of the gust here.
Does clear all the minions coming out.
At least, yeah, at least you got the minions.
Got some more EXP, and here comes Mora, but Cocoon is available in 2 seconds.
Bunny hop coming in too. Look at that Divine Shield on the Gondar. It's still not going to be enough to turn the fight, it looks like here. Sign will lose his mech. He just does come down. Okay, here we go. Gondar's coming in. The big Impale knockups, but still 2 dead already here for BlossoM. No Chat's going to be the next to fall as Lockdown is killing it on the Genji. And he will finally go down here. It looks like, oh, not being targeted by the core. It's on H82. He was super low. And that is just finally, slowly, eventually going to be game as Sign shoots the core in pilot form.
And actually, Mini D.Va does a lot of damage with those auto attacks, so 4 is going down pretty quickly. All 5 members are still alive. 19 to 2 kills. Tempest takes game number 2. It is 2-0 leading against BlossoM right now, and there was some mistakes, of course, coming out from BlossoM's side. It was more of a balanced comp this time, but they couldn't really execute it well, and Tempest from the beginning had the momentum, had some picks off and all the CCs. Ario giving AoE heals. That was one of the biggest questions going against BlossoM. And one of a very good counter to Ario is, because they're all staying together, is Tychus. You put that Odin and press RQ, W, and you do tons of damage to all of the members staying in together, but Tychus was not even in the draft.
Yeah, also the gusts were used in somewhat questionable ways by No Chat, as you pointed out earlier. Never were able to really pair them with the Aegis very well. Sometimes could be kind of a soft counter, as we were talking about. And I think that the main issue here is just mechanically Tempest is out fighting them. The Genji play was really good coming out from Lockdown. And when you look at how the draft happened, it looks like it might have been a little bit on the fly, kind of freestyle. When you look at the D.Va pick wasn't why they won the game even. It was just really good play by Sign on D.Va, but I feel like if he played Muradin and positioned himself to cut off retreating members and was always ready for the picks, could have done just as well. But he played the D.Va. He shows his first D.Va game here in HGC Korea. Looked strong, and I think BlossoM is going to have to go back to the drawing board. But this series isn't over yet. We're going to have a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll have game number 3. See you guys then.